This is the overview for Futato Chapter 4. We'll be getting into nouns in Chapter 4, as it says, basic forms. I want to go through and again tell you, just share a few thoughts on what to focus on and what needs less attention. Nouns have gender, grammatical gender. Now, this might be something of an unfamiliar concept to you coming from English, but in many languages mark their nouns by virtue of endings on the base form of the noun to indicate grammatical gender. And grammatical gender is just a way of classifying nouns for the sake of agreement with verbs that are also marked. They get prefixes or suffixes, and also adjectives. Now, sometimes grammatical gender corresponds to real gender, as he says in 4.1. A lot of times it won't. It doesn't have anything to do with biology. It's a means of classification. So if we go down here, we learn that nouns also have number. They'll be singular or plural, or in the Hebrew there's also a dual, when you have two of something naturally occurring. So that, again, gender and number, you want to keep those concepts in mind and realize what they are. The masculine singular is unmarked. As he says here, that means it doesn't have an ending. So we have here sus, the masculine singular noun. It means horse. But if we come down here to feminine singular, we see that a comet's hay is added to the noun. So we have susa is mare, a female horse, in the singular. Now there are some nouns, as he notes here, that are irregular singular. That means that some that don't have endings, they're unmarked, are still actually feminine in gender. Now I'm going to just say this. I never memorized the gender of nouns going, learning Hebrew all the way up through graduate school. I never bothered to do that because 95% of the time you're just going to be able to tell what something is, whether it's singular or plural, and that'll be sufficient. When we get to adjectives in the grammar, then it'll become somewhat of an issue, because translating an adjective with a noun, whether it's the man is good or the good man, then the adjective and the noun need to agree in gender and number, and so then it becomes useful to know the gender. But even there, most of the time you'll just be able to tell visually what goes with what. So I would say if you want to memorize the gender with the nouns, go ahead. If you want to just remember a few of the ones that he points out or that we hit in exercises like eretz and here, right here, make a list. Just start a short list of unmarked nouns that are actually feminine, and then you'll be able to just memorize a real short list there. 4.11, parts of the body that occur in pairs look masculine but are feminine. Hand. I point this out because because they occur in pairs, you naturally have two hands. This is a noun that's going to take a dual plural or a dual ending, something more than singular. So in Hebrew, it's singular is one, dual is two, and plural is more than two. But you'll learn that as you read through the grammar here. Number, here he comments on plural. So the plural ending is hirik yod and then a mem, so im. So we have sus, masculine singular, sus im is masculine plural, horse, horses. Now I have a separate video on grammar notes that will help you in terms of a PowerPoint video to memorize the endings. So keep that in mind so that you don't unnecessarily reproduce a mechanism for memorizing the endings. You want to put them on note cards or something like that, fine, but I'm just telling you that I do have a video on this for you. So elim is God and gods. Im is the plural ending for masculine, masculine plural. And you will, when you memorize the endings, you will need to memorize the gender of the endings. I recommend you don't, again, have to memorize the gender of every noun, but you do need to memorize the gender with the endings. And then feminine plural are marked by ot, cholam vav, and then tav, the ot ending. So we have susa, feminine singular, mare, and we have susot, mares, feminine plural. And there are some irregular plural nouns too. So av is father, which would be masculine, but its plural is avot, so it looks feminine, but it's actually the plural for fathers. Again, why this is, nobody really knows, because grammatical gender is just a means of classification. We have ir, and then arim for cities. Again, ir is actually feminine, as he noted in the previous section, but it takes the im ending. Again, nobody really knows why this is the way it is. So read that closely. Here you get dual. The dual ending is im. Okay, remember, masculine plural is im, feminine plural is ot, and the dual ending is im. So we have yad, hand, yadaim for 2 hands. Yom, day, yomayim, 2 days. So we have here our little chart. These are the basic forms, singular and plural. He doesn't include the dual in the basic form chart, but just know that there is a dual. Remember that. So this is what you're going to have to memorize for this chapter. Your singular and plural, masculine and feminine noun endings. Sus, susim, susa, susot. And believe it or not, that's all there is. I mean, this is how you tell between singular and plural nouns in Hebrew, and of course the dual ending as well, like yad, yadayim. If you had Greek before this might startle you, because you have a lot more forms in Greek to memorize. But this is it for the nouns. They'll be the same as well for the adjectives when we get to that point. So here's your vocabulary. Again, he gives you 10 terms, a few notes. Make sure you read them, and then you get into the practice, the homework stuff. So that's the overview for Chapter 4.